Welcome back to Politics Tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for staying with us. Nigeria has a history of fractured opposition that has been unable to mount a serious challenge to the ruling party. As we all know, a strong opposition is crucial for any functioning democracy. It enhances accountability and transparency in governance. Beyond mere political representation, robust opposition is critical in providing a healthy check and balance to the actions of those in power. However, Nigeria's political landscape has long been plagued by power struggles and a lack of genuine opposition. With the current turmoil or crisis in most of the opposition political parties, the opposition politics have a future in Nigeria. Also beyond the power struggle, why is a strong opposition party crucial for Nigeria's democracy? Joining me for this conversation tonight is Dr. Abayomi Arabambi, Publicity Secretary, Labour Party, and also Boot Party National Chairman, Mr. Sonny Adenuga. Good evening to you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us on Politics Tonight. Happy New Year, and it's so good to see you both.
Good evening. Happy New Year, Jumoke.
Right. Yeah. Let me start with you, Mr. Adenuga. Before we start this conversation, let's help ourselves with some recent developments as regards this conversation. In the last few days, the national chairman of the APC, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, says he received no fewer than 40,000 campaigns from various political parties in Katsina State. And according to him, the new entrants include thousands of members of the PDP, NNPP, and the likes. Despite people moving into the APC, it looks like the ruling party itself is fractured. You have Nasir El-Rufai recently accusing the APC of poor leadership, is encouraging opposition parties to set aside their differences and form a united front ahead of the next election. Today, there was chaos at the PDP headquarters during a meeting of the party's BOT. There is also Yakubu Dogara, who is surprised at Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad's verbal attacks on the Minister of the FCT. For the Labour Party also, there is also the Julius Aburo versus Obedient movement led by Peter Obi. What exactly is happening with Nigeria's opposition party? Mr. Adenuga, let me start with you.
Thanks, Jumoke. I think I'll put it this way first and foremost. Let's look where the problem lies in our constitution. The Constitution of the Federal Republic doesn't state categorically the role and functions of opposition. However, you can assume by virtues of different provisions in the Constitutions, a good example, freedom of association. Then, of course, the Constitution also allows for different political parties. So there are a lot of assumptions there. However, we expect that if you have a political party like ours and any other political party out there, the sense of belonging to a political party should transcend beyond an individual. But what we've seen in our dear country is a situation whereby politics is too much skewed towards individual interest as against the interests of the political party they even represent. You ask yourself, look at the show of shame in PDP. I think that was their secretariat, but you can imagine Board of Trustee meeting going on. And you ask yourself, these people fighting, could they be fighting for PDP? I doubt. It's probably their personal interest. And we should also look at where the problem lies in. You see, by default, the parliamentary system of government encourages, they tell you that in parliamentary system, you vote a political party. Whereas in presidential system of government, which we practice, it's all about individual. And that's why today you will find individuals in Nigeria, they don't even belong to a political party. Then let INEC announce election, give out the timetable. They start calling you. They start making a lot of, I'll put it, offers. And you'll be asking yourself, I've had to conduct a lot of interviews for candidates who want to represent our party. And you'll be it's so shameful to even say some of the things that someone is coming to a political party, wants to flag the flag of the party in an election and cannot even say basic things about the party. You ask, what's the full meaning of Boot Party? And you'll be asking yourself, what is this? So we can, personally, I don't like the idea of dealing with symptoms, but we need to look at the troubles, the problems themselves. So I think it's necessary for the Nigerian National Assembly to start thinking in that direction, something that's going to make the opposition to be organized. And of course, please, I always tell people when APC try to make themselves look big and comparing themselves to PDP, it's terrible. PDP is abysmally poor organization, is poor political party. And when you now see someone like APC comparing themselves to PDP, it's terrible in the first instance.
Right.
How can you be comparing yourself to an entity or a person being poor? Imagine being in a class and someone has failed and you're saying, oh, I'm better than the person that has failed. I mean, what does that look like? Now, the point there is this. The structure of democracy we have today from 1999 to date was clearly established by the PDP. And you can still see clearly they are the leader of opposition in Nigeria. And if at that level, this is the soul of their organization, their party. And yet they cannot put themselves together. But of course, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be able to say that the government of today, like the APC, I personally tell people that, look, under the APC, Nigeria is losing the war against corruption, for instance, insecurity, and the economic hardship seems even increasing. But we see recently also where the former vice president was in an event just a few days ago, and he made a blanket statement.
So before we get to that, Mr. Adenuga, because what you've established tonight is that the fragmentation within political parties is due to political desperation. And with most of the opposition parties in one escalated crisis or another, thankfully you're the national chairman of both parties, so you can speak on behalf of your party, whether or not it's united enough. Are we headed for a one-party state, a one-party system?
Well, as it stands today, I always tell people, don't ask me a question if you hate the truth. The truth in Nigeria is that majority of the parties in Nigeria is money that governs them. So it is whoever that spends most. So for them who think that, we're going for a one-party state, of course, it's money that drives most things in Nigeria. If you don't have money on the table, even when the likes of us who try to play beyond the basic level and we stand for our words, people still even doubt. They think like, it can't be true. You know, I remember But
Mr. Adenuga, money politics is not peculiar to Nigeria, is it?
But yes, in as much that it's not peculiar to Nigeria, look at what is the difference in Nigeria compared to the likes of America, of this world, even in Britain or any other advanced country. When you look at politics within our system, if you approach any of the, let me call it, frontline political parties now, those who have members in National Assembly, and you say you want to run for governor, Jumoke, the first thing they will ask you is how much do you have in your bank account? Do you know why they ask? It's not because you want to give them the money. But nobody wants to waste their time with a candidate who doesn't have the resources. Unlike in America, you hear about, most people donate towards party development. Before now, our forefathers, those who were in politics before us during the days of Sardauna, Awolowo, and Azikiwe, people contribute like they belong to association. They contribute to party development. That does not exist today in Nigeria. It's all about money. And majority of people who are responsible leading our political parties, it's all about money. There is no integrity anywhere, and it is extremely difficult. So that makes it easy for any government, like APC today. There will be there was an accusation by the former vice president that they are paying opposition 50 million naira, and you ask yourself, of course, they know who they are paying. And I asked at the forum where I belong to, I said, well, unless somebody is impersonating the boot party, we do not collect such money from any individual. And I've not had anybody to respond to me. But the point here in Nigeria is this. We are running a money politics. And let's not shy away from it. Party development is difficult. Party development in Nigeria is so difficult. You look at INEC today, nobody sponsors political parties. You remember the last time, Jumoke, and I was telling you that, you'll be surprised how many Nigerians who does not know political parties are not funded. That it is Sonny Adenuga's little meager money that is got, and members of our National Working Committee.
I remember that conversation.
But you will be alarmed to know the number of Nigerians who actually still think, as we speak today, that maybe government give money to parties. And in some of the activities that have been conducted by the National Assembly, we've put our proposal forward. I'm not saying come and give both party money or come and give somebody else money. But the point here is there are some of the activities of the party that government could vote money for and ensure those money are used for that. So that's just the situation we have found ourselves as a country. And when you look at this, it becomes difficult, extremely hard when political parties have to be looking for money, here and there. How will they even focus on policies of government and being able to review and carry out, a top class level of policy analysis? Rather, they just pick and choose. Of course, in the recent time, you see the tax reform bill. It's all about what comes to me. It's not about the whole of Nigeria as a whole. And people start using it for opposition purposes. You just ask yourself, where do we belong here? So these are some of the challenges those of us who have put our hat in the ring to hope that we can make some difference in Nigeria are facing. And that is why it's extremely very difficult in Nigeria that we see
let me
today.
pick you up on other parties, Mr. Adenuga, and hopefully I hope Mr. Arababi joins us soon. But at the moment, APC presently controls about 21 states. PDP controls 12, AFGA controls 1, Labour Party controls 1 as well. For the Labour Party, why has it been hard for the party which many Nigerians regarded as a new branch, the alternative party at that time, to put its house in order? Is it a leadership problem, or has many put a lack of a common ideology? What exactly do you think is wrong?
Simple. The ideology is difficult to cultivate in Nigeria.
Was there one in the first place?
Yeah, well, if you see most of our political parties, you can easily go to INEC website and download political parties' manifesto and the constitution of the parties. And it can give you an idea of what should be happening in the party. But what end up
some
happening
political watchers have said an ideology is different from a manifesto.
Yeah, it is different from manifesto, but you are going to find a lot of it, in the constitution of the party. Of the political party. It will tell you more about what the party stands for. Like for us in the Boot Party, it's non-negotiable. We do not bribe in any case. No matter when we were registered as a political party, we were denied registration before the 2019 general election because we will not bribe anybody. We rather prefer to go to the court. And we went to court, and the court said INEC has to register. For us, I do tell people this. If I have, as a leader of the Boot Party, behave like the PDP and APC, then there is no point having the Boot Party. Let's close Boot Party and go and queue up in PDP and be behaving like that. But what you see with most parties in Nigeria, unfortunately, is that what the PDP of this world, the APC of this world have established is what they also continue to follow, and they try to tell you that, oh, I'm a better human being. For heaven's sake, there is no way such as work. What works is for you to develop right constitution and have the courage to be able to drive it through. I will give you an example. You will not believe it was not until November last year we first had Boot Party state ESCO in Ogun State. I was blackmailed many times by people that, no, you're not going anywhere. How can you say a state where the national chairman belongs to does not have the state ESCO? And I said, until we have capable ESCO who can do the needful of the party in the state. And that is why it took us so long. So for us, I will tell you, it's a bit hard if I tell you. But the government of the day, the problem they had to all this mess that we already have today, because they have their hands in the purse of the Federal Republic, they can dip money and give money to people in one political party or the other. You can't just dismiss what the former vice president said. I'm not saying his allegation is true, but I also want to believe he will have listened to one or two people. In fact, in his statement, he did not even exempt his own political party. That tells you how dangerous, how difficult this situation we are in as a people. And yet, Nigerians expect
But Mr. Adenuga, if you had said tonight that your party did not receive that kind of money, what do you think must have made that correct statement, or kind of validates that statement, or that allegation or accusation as it is?
Yeah, it's a blanket statement, Jumoke. It's a blanket statement. However, Some of us have challenged the quarters and say, please, could you please list? We want you to name and shame those of them. And for me personally, I feel like, the first question I ask myself, Abi, somebody is impersonating the boot party where we don't know. And see, let me tell you, Jumoke, there is nothing. If it's happening, I will tell you there's nothing impossible in Nigeria. I've always had some of this situation in the past. So the issue at hand is that our democracy needs to continue to thrive.
Okay.
The leadership of APC, they should see beyond APC. They should see Nigeria. All of us are responsible. Of course, where there are loose ends.
Are you blaming? Okay. Dr. Abambi, thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you can hear me, Nigerians are worried about the fate of opposition political parties ahead of 2027 general elections. What does the current state of opposition political parties in Nigeria look like as we speak?
Well, different things are happening actually to the opposition, and you must expect that because even before the advent of coalition of the present administration, you have NNPP, you have the ACN, you have CPC, and co. They also have their own challenges, but at the end of the day, they were able to surmount such challenges. So it's not a new thing, and our state, as of now, is that all of us are preparing towards 2027, and we will also be upright to our mission to keep government on its toes constructively, not destructively, because nobody knows who is going to come on board in 2027. It is the yardstick you use to measure those in power that they will use to measure yours when you come on board. So we are trying our best, as an opposition party, though we have, a fair share of the blame, because we just, for the first time, run, with the president candidate that gave President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar a run for their money in 2023. The results have been announced. Yeah, fine and good. We have the president now who will also buckle up, to challenge us, because we are going to challenge him in 2027. Probably, maybe, it can be our turn as an opposition party to be the ruling party, because before they were also in opposition to the PDP, who boasted that they will spend 16 years, despite their inconsistencies and incompetence. They boasted, but the opposition coalition together, all of them came together, they share offices, and by 2015, they succeeded, in getting PDP out of governance. So PDP is part of opposition now, with the rest of us, including the Boot Party, my dear brother there. But we'll try to see what we can achieve by 2022, whether coalition, whether anything, we'll try to see what we can achieve in 2027, to challenge the status quo as presently constituted.
So you're telling us tonight that there's ever tendency that the Labour Party forms an alignment with the PDP, ABGA and the likes ahead of the 2027 election. Is that it?
Yeah, there is nothing that is impossible, but the point is this, on the condition, that Labour Party will take the presidential slot. Because PDP as it is, I'm not going to lie to you.
Is that even realistic, Dr. Abambi?
No, I'm coming. You saw the way they were throwing punches today.
Okay.
You saw the way they were throwing punches. Nobody is going to put such a party, in the first leg. You have to put them in the middle. Because once you put them in the first leg, you are faltered, and you are going to throw back. You are going to throw away your gold. With modern respect, PDP is losing values, because it is not even about them coming to rule. Let me just be very frank. Okay. But it is about personal interest. Their personal interest, that is really the ugly head now in that party. But meanwhile, the other opposition party, we are in talk, we are in consultation. Are you getting me? To see how we can move ahead, because we cannot come third. We thought, with Mr. Peter B, we thought an higher figure, and we now go and throw ourselves, backward. No. PDP will still need to come and learn, how to govern, how to respect their constitution, their manifesto, and themselves. And just like Mr. Peter B said, any people that are just planning to grab power without any purpose. He said he's not going to go into coalition with them, just like Labour Party also. But I think, like my dear brother here, if we are purposeful, let me tell you, it's not even about saying, oh, we want to unseat Tinubu, We need to plan, because they didn't just do it in 4 years. Let me just be very frank. They tried, the current president gave all his best, to the formation of APC that time. Except for people that doesn't know politics. He gave his best to make sure even the president emerges. I mean, that was Buhari in Lagos that time, and he supported them. Likewise, he didn't put his ambition forward then, if you remember. He didn't put his ambition forward. His mission was that let us get a coalition that can unseat these people that are, boasting they're going to spend 60 on uninterrupted years, as if they are in a one kindergarten primary school, where you graduate to primary 1 and later to GSS 1 and SS 2.
But Dr. Abambi, anyone listening to you tonight would say this is you validating the sentiment out there that the Labour Party had always been a sub-faction or a faction of the Labour Party. And this is you pointing fingers at the PDP tonight. A question anyone would be asking is, how united is the Labour Party for a party that
100%.
presented the picture of a redeeming new team? What are the factors? I mean, what are the factors mitigating against peace in the Labour Party? Why can't you hold on, Dr. Abambi? Why has this crisis remained intractable?
You see, we have the PDP are the problem we have in Labour Party, and we are putting them to governors, except where we are going to have governors, except where we are going to have most of this offline election. We are prepared. There is no vacuum in Labour Party. There is no leadership crisis in Labour Party, because the Court of Appeal is very circumstantial. The issue of leadership called la jurisdiction, and that was the judgment they gave in line with Abba Yusuf that returned him as a governor of Kano. If you don't forget, he lost at the Election Petition Tribunal, he lost at the Court of Appeal. Likewise, Mutuan, the governor of Plateau State, and the Supreme Court, in their opinion, have made a decision that issue of party leadership court like jurisdiction. So, wherever they want to go, they are free, but they are our brothers and sisters, our hand is open, and we have also commenced the reconciliation process. You see the next meeting that was held yesterday, the national chairman has alluded to that we have started reconciliation, and even my humble self, at least I have taken steps to meet with Mr. Peter Obi and Governor Alessoti, so that at least we can have a formidable front.
Did you eventually meet with him, Dr. Abambi?
No, I said, no, we will meet very soon, but we want to give the president a run for his money, but if we are defeated again, no bad blood. All right. We will congratulate him.
Mr. Adenuga, let me come back to you. Do you think political parties in Nigeria really have an internal dispute resolution mechanism? Would you say some of them have evolved over the years on how they must settle their internal wrangling without making it a national issue? And for some others, they really do have these internal mechanisms, but most times ignore them. Now, I want you to talk to us from the angle of what applies with the Boot Party.
Yeah, I think it's a very good question that you asked, Jumokete. And because as a people, this is not to castigate us, but usually when it comes to politics, it becomes too personal, even for any observer. So I will give you an example. In the Boot Party, yes, we have an internal process. We have our policies for most things, And of course, there was an instance where a state chairman who has violated the policy of the party was meant to go through disciplinary, and he still felt uncomfortable. Of course, it's within their right to go to court. So he went to court, and we presented ourselves in court, and we defeated him. So the difference is this. When, I will give you an example again about the attitude of us as a people when we're in authority. I was recently having to be so upset with some INEC officials. And I said to them, look, you are in government office. You do not have rights of whatever reason to use threats against anyone. It becomes personal. So some of the problems we have in our party offices, either it's PDP or APC, it becomes too personal. And the person who has even erred in the first instance start perceiving the sense of not being given free sense of freedom of hearing. There is no due care for justice, and everybody starts struggling. Then what now happens next is that people now have to take what they should have resolved internally to the court. Of course, everybody have right to approach the court, but it is a culture that we really need to deal with. That when you are in government offices or political offices, you must treat everybody with dignity. Even when you know absolutely this person has done what is wrong, treat them, talk to them with respect, and everybody will be able to come to the table. Just ask yourself some of those things you saw at PDP Board of Trustees. How can you say what was happening there is for the interest of the party?
All right.
It cannot be for the interest of the party. Of course, if you go to PDP website, you will probably see a process for dispute resolution within the party. But who is following it? Everybody just do what they like. And that's just the situation we found ourselves in the country. But some of us, we keep leading on the area of integrity and making sure that people should be addressed respectively. I always tell people we need to sit down and negotiate minutes. It's not just about boasting or like Dr. Arabambi said earlier. We remember Mantu in those days, maybe a former senator then, who boasted and said, oh, PDP is going to be ruling for over 50 years, if I'm right. And just like Dr. Arabambi said, you will ask yourself, what have they put in place? It's corruption, it's everything, every vices about our democracy that we have today. That's what they've put in place. But it is about the people. And we need to start cultivating it. You can't just present yourself that, oh, I'm Mr. Sunday Adenuga. I will be the best.
All right. And so talking about the people, Mr. Adenuga, let me come here. Talking about the people, is it also a case of APC being very good in mobilizing people to vote for them? Because its members and leaders understand that politics is a game of numbers and that elections are not won on social media. And I mean, you have the good party, and from every of our conversation, you sounded like someone who is very who says it as it is. So would it be fair to blame the poor performance of the opposition on the All Progressives Congress?
Well, I said it earlier, Jumoke. It's not about blaming them, because if there are loose ends, Mr. President wants to come back 2027. So it is our duty as opposition, it is the duty of PDP, Labour, both party to tie their hands. So it is not the job of the ruling party to come and make sure that you are doing the right thing. It is first and foremost your own duty. That is just that needs to be made clear. And the due respect must be given to Mr. President. He's done his own bit. Of course, within APC, if I'm there as well, I don't necessarily have to do it the way he's doing it, but I also want to make sure that if you have vulnerabilities in your processes, and I want to run for presidential election, I'm going to exploit it if I have the capacity. It is the job of the opposition. It is our job to put ourselves together, to put our house in order. It is not about blaming APC. Let's say our constitution is clear and give office to the opposition. Then, and the government in power, the ruling party, didn't do that. Then you can come and blame them. Why are you going to use to blame them? It's not my approach to.
All right, Dr. Arabambi, let me come back to you. Vice President Atiku Abubakar is alleging that the administration of Bola Tinubu has paid the leaders of opposition parties 50 million in a bid to weaken them ahead of the 2027 general election. Mr. Adenuga has said both party didn't collect any money from the APC. So I want you to speak on behalf of your own party, the Labour Party.
Well, thank you very much. With due respect to the former Vice President, I think his accusation is somehow very funny. But I am not going to blame him because, you see, the Papa deceived Peking attitude of PDP has raised ugly head again in this bland accusation. It's an insult on us at Labour Party for anybody to say, oh, Brother Ahmed Tinubu gave Labour Party 50 million. For what? For our party secretary in Ogun State or for Lagos State? Or to buy fuel? Or to do what? I mean, it's an insult, even on the president, to say, oh, he's giving political party 50 million to.
Are you saying 50 million naira is too small, or your party did not collect any money?
No, I said it's an insult for him to even say that. Probably members of PDP, like I told you, today they consider themselves to Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua. It's not their secretariat. So probably they were the ones that were collecting 50 million. It's an insult. Labour Party will never be, a part of such. And number two, I'm not a member of APC, but Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not even try that with anybody. There was a man like Dr. Denga said, he has really prepared. You know, you want to square up an election with BAT, and you don't want to prepare yourself. You are wasting your time. As far as we are concerned, such an delegation should be put at the doorstep of PDP, their members, not opposition party. He should talk for PDP. He is not our spokesperson. He is not our national chairman. Labour Party did not and have not, even make move or such thing have been said to us at all. Labour Party has never been for, but it's an insult on us as a party, as opposition, for a former VP to say, oh, they gave each party 50 million to compromise them. If you want to be the news, fine, but for this one is for wrong reason. Labour Party will not, has not, and shall not, be involved in such shenanigans. We are not.
All right, Mr. Adenuga, let me come to you. Let's talk about the PDP. I do not want to ask Dr. Abambi about the PDP, so let me ask you. Since 2015, PDP has not been able to bring the party back to its winning ways. As of 2016, PDP has had about 14 national chairmen in 18 years. After then, the national chairmen are always disgraced out of office. This is a party that brags that it will remain in power for 16 years. Years down the line, the party did not only lose its firm grip at the center and in many states and local governments. So can the PDP really recover from this?
I wish them well, but I doubt. Because the reason why I said I doubt is there are a lot of young Nigerians who watches the likes of myself, Dr. Abambi, who look up to Mr. Peter Obi. And if you are genuine, do you want to go to sit with the likes of PDP who have been there for years, who only came to power on the heels of June 12th? They have never shown any form of seriousness. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. And clearly, you can just imagine what happened today. And it's not new. It's not the first time it's happening. Their former president tore the party card in the presence of the whole world. That tells you nothing. Nothing in democracy can be grievous than that. So I don't know where they're going to pick themselves. However, I wish them well. But obviously, the likes of us as a political party, we will want to be part of any entity that people know what they are doing. It's not just about selfish interest. It's not just about it has to be me. No, it doesn't have to be Sunday Adenuga. It doesn't have to be whoever. But it should be about the party. It should be about the common interest for everybody. So, and I think even if you call maybe it's only maybe 50 or few percent of PDP members who will be able to tell you that the question you've asked, that they can actually put their house in order. They can't. It has always been about fighting. And of course, you remember the days of Ghana Must Go. Whenever you don't agree with them on ideologies, the next thing is that they want to come and drop money at your feet. And when you say no, then everything is against you. We remember how PDP used the EFCC against a lot of people in Nigeria just because they cannot come to table and arrange and have a discussion and have very tough discussions. But what happens? And that's what is now happening to them as a political party when they've now become opposition and they want to be blaming the ruling party. They want to be blaming can you just imagine the likes of myself? I've never collected any money from anybody, and someone who, like our former vice president, will wake up and say opposition, and he did not even qualify what he said, and it's just not fair on every one of us who are in the opposition.
So I'm asking you this question because if there is going to be a realignment today, a coalition today, there's a possibility that PDP would be part of that coalition. And that's what I'm asking you, how you think the party should reshape its leadership structure. This is because another shot at Kindly hold on. Another shot at restoring peace in the party went south today. We have Samuel Ayawu and Ude Okoye fighting over the position of National Secretary of the party. We have some big wigs who are against Ambassador Damagun continue stay in office. The governors intervened at the point, but some political watchers doubted the sincerity of purpose as at the time they stepped in, because many say what escalates this crisis most times is the questionable positions of the kinds of persons who make up members of these some of these reconciliation committees. Are they really neutral? Because this is not the first time PDP is coming up with a committee of this kind. Yet these issues never go away, but continue to spread to states. Look at Rivers, look at Benue and the likes. So do you fear that this could be the beginning of an implosion within the PDP, if not properly handled?
Yeah, it's just like any empire. There is. I'm going to give you this law of second law of thermodynamics, where it says that the entropy of a closed body can only increase. And what does that mean? If you want to destroy an organization, all you need to do is to close it. Don't give room for people to come in. So you cannot stop entropy. Entropy is a degree of disorder. So when there are a lot of disorder, that's what you've seen today in PDP at their secretariat. That is a sense of disorder. And when there is disorder, everybody keep fighting. So what happens is that it implodes on everybody. So the point here is PDP cannot go against law that have even become wisdom. You can search some of these things. People have made a lot of research on some of these topics, and these are some of the things they need to know. But it's a gradual process. They say, how do you hit an elephant? It's gradually, and that's what's happening to PDP. They are an elephant, and they keep going down that gradually. And it seems nobody in that party realizes that they are actually going down. And the question you should ask yourself is this, Jumoke. You wonder, is it that there are no guidelines or no redefined process in PDP on how to elect secretary, how to elect chairman, how to elect people in the office? But of course we know they might have those things. They set it aside. They call themselves paddy politics. So you and I just come to the table and we say, whatever the other people in the party is doing doesn't matter. And we just make a decision, thinking that everybody will go with it. And these are some of the challenges they are facing. And they really need to look at themselves in the eyes.
All right, then.
And see really
Dr. Abambi, your party is hoping to align with the PDP. What do you think is wrong with the People's Democratic Party?
Well, thank you very much, even though you have disqualified me from talking about PDP.
I didn't disqualify you, Dr. Abambi.
Now, the point remains, ordinarily, I think PDP lacked the locals to even contest 2027 election, and they ought to recuse themselves from that election to go and put their house in order. It is a shame, that what is happening to a party that has former president, Obasanjo, Jonathan, they will not be able to do the needful. And I'm going to tell you why. You see, they mismanage our economy. And rather than for them to apologize, they keep fighting, this in their internal ranking. Because they were just power grabbers. They have not even been able to tell Nigerians, just like Dr. Denga said, what is their intention even towards 2027? Other than it is today Wike versus Atiku versus Damagun versus any other person there. That was not, the way APC, the ACN, the NMPP, the CPC, that was not the way they conducted themselves. A political party that have the interest of Nigerian attack will do exactly what our presidential candidate, former presidential candidate said. Right. That if it is about Nigeria, we don't, he will be in for it. But if it's about grabbing power, where they will now be launching their total bid because they failed woefully. All right. Before,
so Dr. Abambi, because of time. Yes. So when we say progressive opposition politics, how do we engender this in the country?
Well, it depends on the let me say the characters involved. But as far as I'm concerned, there are no progressive politics with PDP, but it can be found in other opposition because already they have shown Nigerians, you understand, exactly what they intend to do in 2027. But for us, I'm not going to blame the APC for any internal implosion in PDP. No, it is their own network. They are the architect for their misfortune. But let all of us play by the rule of the game, just like Dr. Adenuga said. Let us play by the rule. Let us respect ourselves. Let us think about our country. Let us think about our economy.
Right.
How do we increase our GDP? How do we put food on the table of Nigeria? How do we, give employment? Not about I must be president, at all costs. No,
All right.
that is not going to be good,
All right, gentlemen. All right, I'm glad I had this conversation with you both. Thank you so much for joining us on the program. Sonia Adenuga, National Chairman, Boot Party. Dr. Bayo Mirabambi, Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party. Thank you so much for joining me on Politics Tonight, and I look forward to more conversations with you both. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jumoke.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much for watching, everyone. As Nigeria forges ahead in its democratic journey, opposition parties must be strengthened. A strong opposition also ensures that the ruling party remains innovative and focused, delivering its promise to the electorate. If there's going to be a change in Nigeria's political landscape, a genuine and lasting one, developing a robust opposition is not an option.